we did with security, we're going to make a baseline for AI. I think this is less revolutionary since, yeah, this slide is already a bit old, I think, with AI growing and people using it more. I don't think anybody's surprised about Netflix looking at your watches and then kind of proposing new series to look at. Military application, medical application of AI, deep fakes. I think I'm not telling anybody anything new. But what is AI? And specifically, I think the most interesting part of AI for us is generative AI. What is it? So we have AI, which is a big group of smart algorithms. You have a subsection called machine learning, where I think everyone that does a computer science class has at least like one class that touches upon this one. There you have a subsection deep learning. So if anybody talks about neural networks, that's that. And then the ChatGPT, generative AI. So what happens there is it's a, again, statistical algorithm, but it has seen all the things that are in the world. So its world is built based on the data on the internet. And it has examples of input, it has examples from output, and from that it can learn what is the most probable correct answer. So if you ask it, like, okay, here's the output, train yourself, and now we're going to use it, and you ask it, like, what's man's feline friend, and it's going to say the cat. But that's the machine learning way of doing things. Generative AI will kind of add some extra text, because anyone using generative AI to write an email will see that the text size is going to blow up slightly, because it kind of keeps on guessing and adding more and more words, and then you get no content, but a lot of words. But that's the essence of AI. But now, AI in development, and mostly in security. What is its role? So first of all, you can develop a system. You can develop an AI system. You can develop a system using AI. And then with that development of AI, or like a system with AI, you can add extra facets. So you can try to verify your code using AI. This is actually the part that I'm researching at the moment. But you can also use it to build your design with. You can kind of have a sparring partner. I want a system X to do this. How would the design look like? And then you have a first scaffold, which is actually really smart to use, and it helps also with brainstorming. And then defending using AI, like Hanna kind of mentioned, using AI to do anomaly detection and all other stuff. And then, as we mentioned before, in the current threats, we can also use attacks. So if you have competition and you know they are very vulnerable for DDoS attacks, you can ask an AI to do a DDoS attack for you. Please don't. This is not advice. And then, of course, getting questions answered. More and more people are using generative AI instead of Google. So before, I'm in my 30s, I have a question that I don't know the answer to. Usually everyone just like, let's Google this, right? Go behind the computer. But now I see more and more people just go to ChatGPT instead of Google, which is, for me, I think, in my opinion, a very interesting development. And generative AI also has invaded our development life cycle and culture. So you can have actually two situations that as I mentioned before. You can actually generate code with AI and just build a classical software system, let's call it like that. And then you can also use AI to build AI. So you have like a meta loop of AI building AI. And you have massive amounts of tooling that would help you. You can just search for it. Everyone has a tool for you, which is a wrapper for ChatGPT in your development lifecycle. So be wary of that. But what we also see is because AI actually learns about stuff with things that you can find on the internet, you find also very bad code on the internet. My first bachelor's project is on the internet and it's been ingested. So I don't know if you trust me as a first year bachelor. But that's also the possibility that that code will come into your code. Be very aware of that. it needs guidance. And I think you guys are also using AI for development. So I'll give it back to you.
Yeah. So we treat AI kind of like a junior teammate and or an intern. They can be amazingly, surprisingly good, or it can be horrible, but with potential. You never know. So it requires oversight and discipline. And we have as a base, we have a strong governance over the usage of AI. Any tool which is used within Maxxton, no matter if it's in Netherlands, France, or India, needs to be approved. And it's approved through a pretty lengthy process with people from several disciplines within Maxxton. And to oversee also all of this, we have an AI officer. His name is Martin. He's walking around here. And we have monthly global syncs with the team. And this is also to share knowledge. What risk are we facing with AI and what tools is approved? And especially for a new tool, it is training and a lot of policies which needs to be followed. And one of the tools we have allowed is Copilot for developers. And Copilot is not, or AI, is not a replacement for a developer, it's a partner. It's a junior teammate which help you with often a bit of stupid things. But the code which is produced from AI is treated like human code. No AI code goes through without the same procedures, without the same reviews and controls. And again, a senior engineer will approve it or will have to approve it for it even to go and develop. It is treated like a junior developer. I want to mention, I talked a bit about the CI/CD pipeline and tools we use to prevent human error. And another one which are coming in now, which developers now use locally, is a plugin which was created by a, not intern, but a junior at Maxxton, which ensures that the code, even if it comes from AI or it comes from people, that it is readable, it's maintainable, it's consistent, and it's good. So we have adopted AI, which I think you need, especially as a developer, but it's done very carefully and with a lot of oversight.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to give you a quick course on our bread and butter at SIG. So SIG is a company that exists for 25 years, and we specialize in static code analysis. And over these 25 years, actually the whole cloud are all systems that we have ever seen in our scans. So we have a very good impression of what's on the market. And so what we did is actually the x-axis is the size of a system, expressed in how much time it would take a person to rebuild this from zero. It's a logarithmic scale, so that's why the numbers are quite weird, otherwise the plot would not fit. And then we have something called maintainability, and we express that in stars. And overall, what we see in the market is everyone scores around these 3 stars. So if you score 3 stars, you are market average. And to be have a better competitive advantage, you want to have something at 4 stars. So 2 years back, I did an analysis of all the machine learning, ETL, big data, anything smart that handles data, and I did an analysis on their quality. And the result of that are the blue dots. And this is quite worrisome, because a lot of companies are trusting these types of systems to make big business decisions. It would be the same as, yeah, the car works, but the brakes are not always working, and driving with it. That's actually the correlation you need to make. So what we kind of see in our deeper analysis is that overall the maintainability is bad. It's very hard to read. Then we see also very little test code. Security is not a concern, it's not built in. And yeah, privacy issues, of course, also with that, scalability issues. And the main cause of that is actually because lab development is not the same as production development. Those people that are making those algorithms and doing the experimentation don't take into account that this will be a system that will be live. It is closed in an environment that they know, which is secure, but when the moment you go outside of it, not so secure. And then of course you think, Maxxton, where is Maxxton, right? Maxxton is there for their whole portfolio. So I took the average, and it's an average from 3.3. So net slightly below market average, but it is up there in the good quality space. So you can take your conclusions from there. But when we look deeper into AI, and we see it more and more in our life cycle, yeah, it has quality issues. The same that it has been already 2 years for me since the last time I've written proper code. I mostly written data science code, so my dot will also be very low on that scatter plot. But most people are thinking of AI as something infallible, that it doesn't make mistakes, little mistakes. We are more trusting of AI than we are for our human colleagues, which is a big mistake in my opinion. And one of the biggest challenges is the code doesn't always go through the hands of engineers. So before AI was here, like, it's 2 years or 1 year, people touched every piece of code. People were close to the code base, to the architecture, close to everything. And now we are kind of slowly moving that away. We're shifting right instead of left. And one of the most important skill to have to be able to interpret code and read code is actually writing code. But you have the vicious cycle of you giving code writing to AI, so you're not writing code, but you have to review it, and so on and so on. So you need to have a good balance in between with a lot of scrutiny. And that's also the main reason why AI is not so good at code reviewing, as I noticed. And then also the review skills, it's always the seniors. But do you have 10 seniors in a team? I don't think so. So that's a very rare skill. You have more production of code with less people being able to review it. So that's actually one of the biggest points here. So then people always ask me, but in 5 years, the AI will be so good, we don't need people anymore. And I like to compare that with a car that's right 99% of the time. But at 1% of the time, it makes a fatal mistake. Are you going to trust that car? So what happens is you don't want AI to be perfect. You want it to be imperfect enough, the same way that you keep on fishing people in your company to keep training them. Keep them aware of the mistakes. Keep them developing their skills to be able to recognize these issues. Otherwise, your brain will look like this. If you don't train a muscle, you lose the muscle, right? That's like one of the biggest things. So my message here is embrace AI, but don't over-rely on AI. And then you will probably ask me the question, should I ban AI from my company? Is this dangerous? How should I handle my AI? Well, in essence, AI is code. And what AI generates in our sector is code. So why not treat it the same way we treat every piece of code, the same way that Maxxton implemented it. So everything that I told you from beginning to end about software engineering still applies the same way to AI. Might have some extra nuances towards it, but the practices are still there. Thank you very much. This was my presentation. If you have any questions, please ask.